So coming to this point, we will counter the Greek war with Persia. Simply, it's pretty easy. The Persian people started to invade cities by cities until they reached the Ionian city-state. Once they reached the Ionian city-state, they took control of them. Later, Athens sent some troops for the Ionian, resembled in the fleet ships, so that they can help them. And Ionia is in the Asia Minor region. Consequently, Darius I, the leader of the Persian, he felt like insulted by that action, and he just needed to teach those Athenians something. So he asked his troops to go and destroy Athens. Yet the Athenian people fought their best, and they could stand against the Persian, and they defeated them. After the defeat in the marathon battle, so the Athenian people had that such great, tremendous idea, which is making a league. A league meaning that an agreement between the Greek city-states so that they can defend each other in the action of war with the Persian or any other invader. The league was called or named the Delian League because it was made in the island of Delos. So the Delian League was made in the island of Delos, and Athens, as the strongest fleet and strongest economy, of course, they took control of the league. But unfortunately, the Athenian people, they were very stupid because they now started to cheat, started to take the money from the treasury, which they already transported from Delos into Athens, and they used the money for building their own city-state. Consequently, what happens was this: the people from the Delian League, got separated, and another league appeared, led by the Spartan people, which was the Peloponnesian League. Yes, Walid, I think you need to ask something.
Walid said he's back. He sent me a message, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you guys.
Okay, that's great.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
What did I miss? If you could give me like a quick, just
No,
1 minute.
you came back right when we started.
Just
Okay.
with the Greek war with Persia, and that all of that war happened because one thing. The Athenian people sent some help for the Ionian city-state in Asia Minor, and this led to the trigger the war with Persia. While having the war with Persia, the Athenian people bravely defended their city-state in the battle at Marathon, and they could defeat the Persian, and then asked for a league between the city-states of Greek so that they can stop any further conquest from the Persian people. And this will lead us to later the decline of the Delian League and the rise of the Peloponnesian League. But this will be after they have already defeated the Persian. While doing this, we can counter another reformer, Pericles. Another reformer like Solon, he was a reformer. He also tried to make democracy evolve in Athens, and he introduced democracy really, really vastly. He made the Council of the 500. So by the time of Pericles, the Athenian Assembly met several times a month. A 500 member was included in the council. They named it the Council of the 500, selected by a lot of course.
Teacher, who started the Council of 500?
The council itself was started at the beginning of the city-state. From changing
no
from monarchy into a
person who
democracy,
started
we
it.
had the council. Okay, from changing from monarchy, even while they were still a monarchy, they had such a council. But the number itself, okay, it arose until it reached 500 at the era of Pericles.
So could we give credit to Pericles?
Please. Well, actually, we can give him a credit for including such an emperor in just one council. Mm, Yet, on the other hand, you'll find it's very bad
Why?
because you make 500 people shut their mouth while speaking about an important issue.
What?
You can't make a quick decision while having 500 person inside the room.
So it's harder to have an argument or something like that,
Yeah.
huh?
So like a debate or discussion about what's better.
Yeah, exactly. Yet they were
But
introduced
I
to
could
have,
see there being two sides of two ideas and each side giving their take on it and people voting for it, like an easy system to
yeah,
make
if it was
ideas.
well arranged. Just imagine if each one of the 500 was given 1 minute to speak.
No, they're gonna have to pick someone who's gonna speak for them.
Yeah, that's it. So,
Yeah.
simply at the era of Pericles was another reformer, and he just drove Athens in the way of democracy. And of course, each one of these people in the council was paid a fixed amount of money, was named or called stipend. Even at one funeral after the Marathon War, Pericles he gave a speech at that funeral, and he reminded the people of the importance for defending their own city, and that those who die for the city are the most honorable ones. And later, he even started to tell them about the changes he will make and the equality of all citizens, and that no one has a superiority over any other one of the Athenian people. All of them were alike, and later he introduced to them what we know now as the jury. And the jury is a group of people having the authority to make a decision in a legal case. And the jury at the first starts with 12 member, unless it started to increase, and all the people in the assembly or the council were accepted as jury. So we reached the number of 500 or more juries. Even in that's why we counter in.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. So we counter the 500 jury in the Athenian government, and later all of them attended Plato's teachers, Aristotle, trial, and sent him to death. Ostracism, when a large number of people or votes cast against him, was ostracized. That means that he have to leave the country and live outside of the country. Ostracism. And the Athenian culture thrived with the help of an educated foreign-born woman named Aspasia or Aspasia. Aspasia Pericles turned Athens into the cultural center of Greece. Yet, after Pericles, the Athenian people became very, very stupid that they took the money from the Delian League and just put it in their pockets or even tried to rebuild their own empire. Consequently, the Spartan people refused that and they made their own league, which they named the Peloponnesian League. And they had a fight or a war with the Athenian people and they managed to beat them. So Athens was defeated by the Spartan people in the Peloponnesian War. And once again, the Peloponnesian War happened between two parties, the Delian League, headed by Athens, and the Peloponnesian League, headed by the Spartan. And later, after now, the tension has arisen very, very much among the city states of early Greek civilization. The civilization had to decline. Physics 101. Everything goes up, must go down. And this brings us to the most important philosophers, artists, and also writers of that era, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Remember the jury of 500 we just spoke about?
Yes.
They condemned
Socrates'
Socrates.
jury, they were 501.
What?
What?
Socrates, he was accused to just be misleading the youth. Consequently, they sentenced him to death.
Yes, so he was the guy that told people to look at things differently
Yeah, the
and
Socratic method, using the
yes,
Socratic method, which was just asking question, which will eventually lead the person who answered these questions to truth. Consequently, the corrupted people, of course, said that he was a corrupted man and he's corrupting our youth and he must be killed. So, a jury of 501 citizen was made and they sentenced him to his own death, and he died using hemlock, which is deadly poison. His student, on the other hand, Plato, he fled from Athens for approximately 10 years, and once he came back, he opened his school, which he named the Academy, and later he wrote in his book, The Republic, he described the version of the ideal society. In his society, he just divided the society into three main classes: workers, soldiers, and philosophers. Workers to produce the necessities of life, soldiers for defense, and philosophers to rule. And he agreed upon a great philosopher king or leader, which will eventually lead the city state to a very, very unique position. And although that he just believed that women are no equal to man, yet there are some very talented women, he said, and they should be given the opportunity to serve the state. Serve the state. Once again, the love of their cities was very much high and honorable one. After Plato came his student Aristotle, which was one of the most important philosophers and thinkers of the whole history. Aristotle himself addressed the question of how people ought to live, about beauty, about nature, about living together in harmony, about the steps, about methods, the rules, the way, every aspect of life, every aspect of philosophy, about thinking, anything Aristotle has already addressed. And he left for us a variety of books and a variety of branches: literature, knowledge, philosophy, poets, poetry, you name it. And later, the ideas, of course, shall be conveyed by the architecture. And those are wealthy people, healthy, having thinkers, philosophers, so they will eventually take great interest in building their own society. And the only thing to remain from their civilization was some pottery, including some of day-to-day activities drawn on them. Regarding to the literature of them, the literature varied from an era to another era, but we have first Homer introducing for us two of the most epic poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey. We have Sappho, we have Pineder, all of them were poets. On the other hand, for the tragedy and playwrights, we will have other very important playwrights like Aeschylus, Sophocles, and also Euphrates. Those are the playwrights. And of course, the purpose of tragedy is very, very important. Euphrates and Aristophanes, all of these people, they just try to contribute in the literature of the Greek society. Coming to the next student after Aristotle, he was, as Aristotle was the private tutor for Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great came from Macedonia. His father was Philip II, the king of Macedonia. The Greek people thought of the Macedonian civilization as half civilized one, not complete civilization. Yet, once the Greek city-state come to the age of separation. Once they become divided, consequently, the Macedonian king took control of that, and he used all methods and means in order to take control of these city states, including the threats, bribery, democracy, and even making alliance and marching to war. Eventually, he managed to take control of some of the city states, yet he was assassinated at his daughter's wedding. Then come one of his sons, his name was Alexander, and his mother Olympia. She just urged him to take control of his father's kingdom. And he did take control of his father's kingdom, and he started to march towards victory. From one city to another, he started to march until he reached all of these areas: Macedonia, Greek, Asia Minor, Egypt, Mesopotamian civilization, Persian civilization, till even he reached the Indus River. Once he came here, he countered the men riding horses, and his people, after approximately 11 years, were very, very, very tired, and they needed to go back to Macedonia. So he stopped and came back and stayed in Papillon. From Papillon here, he wanted to just plan for another march, yet he caught fever and he died. No one of his followers was even strong like him to take control of the whole land. So later they were divided into three parts: Macedonia and Asia Minor for one general, Egypt for another, and the rest for another. Hellenistic period happens after Alexander, of course. Once his empire was divided into three main parts. In that Hellenistic period, you will speak about the advancement that was happened in mathematics, astronomy, about Pythagoras, for example, Archimedes, Hippocrates, and that's it.
Thank you very much. Inshallah, 20.
Thanks, Mr. Ahmed. Thanks for the lesson.
You are very,
Yes, thanks for the revision. Inshallah, I will also study more to get good tomorrow.
Yeah, inshallah, all of us 20.
It's pretty easy.
Alright, take care.
Okay.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Yes, see
Goodbye.
you later, inshallah. See you on the battlefield.
Okay, man. Bye.